Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hope your day and your week are going well so far. We've got a new day, which of course means a new MLB Player Prop video to share with you guys. But first, as always, people, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it means a ton to us. We've got a great MLB slate coming up for you guys tonight. I have 6 picks to hand out for today's games that I'm pretty jazzed about. But first, before we dive into today's video, let's do a quick little recap of last night. And let's go ahead and clap it up. We had a great night last night. A nice little 3-1 performance. We cashed. We got a plus money play in there with a Fernando Tatis prop. That hit was plus 100 if you got it on, I believe it was FanDuel. So a really good night for us. 3-1. The only miss was that Jorge Soler prop under 1.5 HRRs. We did miss that one. We had 5 picks originally, but Byron Buxton was not in the lineup, unfortunately. So 4 picks graded, 3-1 record. That means we cashed last night. So shout out to you guys for whoever tailed. Shout out to me for picking the winners, I guess. Shout out to everybody for following along and watching yesterday's video. It was a great success. And let's keep those good vibes rolling into today's video. And real quick, there's our record on the year so far, 59 and 39, including yesterday's 3-1 results. So this is not new, guys. If you're new here, we've been cashing props all year long. So again, hit that subscribe button down below and go ahead and join the Guy Boss Sports community. We're handing out winners across the entire channel that you guys don't want to miss. All right, guys, with that out of the way, let's dive into today's video, jumping right into the Outlier screen. Guys, if you don't know what Outlier is, they're the best sports betting tool on the market, and they're the official sponsor of all of my player prop videos here on the channel. There's a special link down below in our description. You get a 7-day free trial to check it out for yourself. There's no risk involved. You try it for 7 days, you don't like it, you don't pay a thing. But if you do like it, and I promise you will, you can stay subscribed and you can go ahead and help yourself become a better sports bettor. I have become a better sports bettor using Outlier. I say it all the time. Even if they didn't sponsor me, I would still use Outlier. So guys, shout out to them. Use their special link down below in our description to get a 7-day free trial to check Outlier out for yourself. All right, without further ado, let's dive into today's pick. Starting off with the Phillies-Red Sox game, 7:10 p.m. first pitch. We're going Zach Wheeler here, under 5.5 hits allowed. We're getting this on DraftKings for -115, BetMGM for -120, Underdog for -120, and Caesars for -121. Apologies to all my FanDuel guys out there. I know a lot of disappointment yesterday from FanDuel users, but unfortunately, and I hate to break it to you, FanDuel, not the best when it comes to MLB props. I'm just going to be honest. So if you guys aren't on FanDuel, consider making a DraftKings account too. There's nothing wrong with having multiple sports books. Don't let your family judge you for having multiple sports books. It's okay. It's the best option if you guys are looking to make money here, shopping around using multiple sports books. It's the best way to go about things. I'm primarily a DraftKings user, but I do also use FanDuel. I use BetMGM. I use other sports books like that. So, go ahead and shop around. But if you guys are strictly using FanDuel, yeah, a lot of these props are not going to be available to you. But again, consider making a DraftKings account. It's worth it. To have multiple sports books, it's really worth it at the end of the day. And we do also have a special link down below for DraftKings as well to go ahead and check that out to match your deposit. So Zach Wheeler here, 9 of his last 10 games, 90% hit rate for him. He's only giving up an average of 3.7 hits per game over his last 10 games. And so far this season, an 85% hit rate on this under. 11 out of his 13 starts this year, he has cashed the under. It's been a really solid year for Zach Wheeler. Look at the right side of the screen. 7-3 record, 2.23 ERA, which looks really good. Strikeouts per 9, 10.15. Like across the board, really solid numbers there for Zach Wheeler. And if we look down below, it's really good across. But now, the Boston batting, surprisingly, despite Boston having all these injuries in their lineup, really looking unimpressive to the naked eye, actually been pretty good. A top 10 batting average in Major League Baseball versus right-handed pitchers in 2024. Over the last 30 games, that stays true. 250 batting average, which is his top 10 in the league. I'm not too concerned, though. Zach Wheeler has been one of the best pitchers in baseball this year. I do think this is a Red Sox lineup that, although the numbers may tell you that they're playing better than expected, I still don't trust them against a pitcher like Zach Wheeler. You see his strikeout rate's very high. His hard pitching percentage is very high. And across the board here for Zach Wheeler, 181 batting average allowed this season as a starting pitcher. That's one of the best marks in Major League Baseball across the board. Really solid data. So I like the spot here against a Red Sox lineup that I'm just not super impressed with. It's a lot of guys who are overachieving, absolutely. But I just don't buy it here against a pitcher like Zach Wheeler. So we're going to go ahead and take this under here. Pretty good odds there for -115. All right, guys, our second prop from today's slate, we're switching over to the Marlins-Mets game. Again, 7:10 p.m. first pitch. We're going Tim Anderson here, under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Available on BetMGM for -145 and DraftKings for -150. Odds are a little high, but it's not a bad prop to go ahead and throw potentially in a parlay or to bet straight up. Of course, you got to put a little bit more down if you want to bet it straight up, but that's also an option. So far this year, a 70% hit rate on this under for Tim Anderson. 33 out of 47 games this year. He has cashed the under, averaging 1 HRRs per game. You narrow that data down to his last 10 games, a 90% hit rate, 9 of his last 10 games. He has cashed the under only once in his last 10 games, which was May 31st against the Texas Rangers, has he actually cashed the over here. And even if you go to the last 20 games, I mean, any view you really want to go to, the data looks pretty good. Over his last 20 games, 17 of his last 20, he's cashed the under, averaging 0.7 HRRs per game. So the data looks really good here for Tim Anderson. And you look down below at the splits, it just gets better and better for us, honestly. You see at 188 batting average this season for Tim Anderson. It does drop versus right-handed pitchers to 155. And the matchup here versus Tyler Megill, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, for the New York Mets. He's got 3 ERA overall, but his ERA does increase or decrease, whatever way you want to put it. It gets better at a 2.16 ERA versus right-handed batters. Again, small sample size, only 35 batters faced that are right-handed, but really good data. 219 batting average allowed. No home runs per 9 innings. His OBA is low. Again, only 89 batters faced overall this year, so the sample size is relatively low, but when he has pitched for the Mets this year, he's looked really, really good. And matched up against a player who has not been hitting the ball well this year, I like the spot here for Tim Anderson to keep cashing this under in a pretty good matchup versus a pitcher who, although he's a little green, right, it's a little inexperienced, the numbers so far have been pretty good for him. All right, guys, our third prop for today's slate, sticking with the 7:10 p.m. first pitch. We're going Cleveland Guardians at the Cincinnati Reds. We're going Jose Ramirez here, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. We're going to get that for minus 150 on DraftKings, minus 145 on BetMGM, the same as the last prop. Again, I know the odds are a little bit higher. If you do straight bet, you just got to put a little bit more down. But if you're not looking to straight bet odds this high, these are really great picks to go ahead and pair in a parlay if you're looking for a couple extra picks to throw in your parlay. But guys, at the end of the day, these odds are high for a reason. The data is fantastic on this prop. You see the last 20 games for Jose Ramirez, 17 of his last 20 has he cashed this over, an 85% hit rate. He's averaging 3.7 hits, runs, RBIs per game over the last 20 games. You narrow that down to the last 10, still the same 80%, 3.3 HRRs per game. And in 2024 so far, a 62% hit rate on this over. 39 out of 63 games this year, he's cast the over, averaging 2.87 hits, runs, RBIs per game. So of late, you see down below, of late, the greens have been ridiculous. But all season long, really, he's been cashing this number pretty consistently. And looking at the head-to-head data dating back to last season, each of the last 4 times he's faced off with the Cincinnati Reds, he has cashed the over, averaging 2.5 HRRs per game versus the Reds. So the overall data looks pretty fantastic here. Now looking at the splits down below, it's decent data as well. Jose Ramirez versus Brent Suter, dating back 2018, 3 plate appearances, 333 batting average. So he's faced him 3 times. He does have a home run off of him, so pretty good there. Again, Jose Ramirez this year, 275 batting average overall, but versus left-handed pitchers like Suter, a 321 batting average. So he's a significantly better hitter this year versus left-handed pitchers. Smaller sample size, but still big enough to, I think, get a pretty good idea of what we're looking at here. And looking at Suter, now this is the part that does concern me a little bit. Now the ERA does increase significantly from 386 to 480, which we like to see that. However, the batting average allowed drops from 265 to 218. So that I don't like. That's a little concerning there, that 218 number. It does concern me a little bit. His home runs per 9, 1.8, it does increase, and his OBA does decrease to 277. So a couple of literal red flags there. But Ramirez has been so hot of late, I think he'll be able to continue this run versus a pitcher who, you know, the data, I mean, at 4.80 ERA versus right-handed batter, that's not fantastic. But the batting average is pretty good. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that. But I think for minus 150, it's worth a shot here. Again, if you want to put it in a parlay, if you do want to bet it straight up and put a little extra on it, I think it's a pretty safe bet. Guys, we just passed the 9-minute mark in today's video, so before we hop into the 4th prop of today's slate, go ahead and comment 9 down below if you are still watching so far in today's video. As always, I appreciate you guys who watch all the way through. We put a lot of work into these videos, and so I appreciate those who watch through the entire thing. So comment 9 down below if you're still here halfway through our picks. And again, as always, people, I know people keep asking for the pinned comment. I don't do it like Ev. I think the way I do it is actually a little bit easier. There's a link in our description. I'll even put the link in the pinned comment if that's what makes it easier for people. You click that link, it takes you right to the page that has all the picks, and you can transfer them right directly into your sportsbook. It's super easy, super convenient. I think it's actually easier than what Ev does. No offense to Ev, but for the people that have been asking for the pinned comment stuff, I do try to give you guys a way to follow along and tail fairly easily. All right, guys, our fourth prop from today's slate, we're going from the Yankees-Royals game, 8:10 p.m. first pitch. And if you watch my player prop videos, you know I like to throw in a couple plus money plays. I like to swing for the fences, pun intended, when it comes to some of these props. So we're going to take our first plus money play of the day. We're going Alex Verdugo of the Yankees, over 1.5 total bases. We're going to get that for plus 120 odds here on DraftKings. Also available on Caesars for plus 118, Underdog plus 101, and this is available on FanDuel for plus 100. Looking at the data overall, you see the head-to-head rankings. 5 of his last 8 times facing off with the Kansas City Royals, he has cashed the over. Most of those being with the Red Sox last year, of course, but you do have that one game last night versus Royals. He did cash the over, but a 63% hit rate, averaging 2 total bases per game versus Kansas City. And look, guys, this being a plus money play, the data is not probably going to be fantastic. You see on the season total, just a 39% hit rate on the over, 25 out of 64 games this year. He's cashed the over, averaging 1.61 total bases per game. So he's averaging 1.61, but of course you see he's got a couple of really big games in there that make the data look a little bit better. Over his last 20 games, though, a 55% hit rate, 11 of his last 20 games, he's cashed the over, including 3 straight games he's cashed this over for the Yankees. So it's been pretty good over the last 10. 5 of his last 10 games, 50% hit rate, averaging 1.6 total bases per game. So overall, not bad, honestly, for a plus money play. Still a 50% hit rate over his last 10 games. But looking down below at the splits, you see a lot of green here for Verdugo. Now, in terms of direct head-to-head matchup versus Brady Singer, it's not bad. 6 plate appearances since 2018, a 200 batting average versus Singer. He does have 2 total bases, a hit, an extra base hit, 400 slugging percentage. So not terrible data there versus Singer. Could be better, but not terrible. Verdugo this year, 265 batting average with the Yanks, although versus right-handed pitchers, that does increase to 277. His BABIP increases from 275 to 285. Extra base hit percentage goes from 36.5 to 38.8. So across the board, you see green for Verdugo. And looking at Brady Singer here, overall pretty solid data, 2.76 ERA, 2.36 batting average allowed. But versus left-handed batters, that does increase significantly to a 3.51 ERA. Batting average, huge jump to 2.72. We really like to see that. The slugging percentage allowed, 4.78. And the extra base hit percentage at almost 46%. So you have a batter with a nearly 39% extra base hit percentage and a pitcher with a nearly 46% extra base hit percentage allowed. You put those together, what do you get? You get a really, really solid prop here for plus money play. I absolutely love this. I would absolutely recommend betting this straight up. I love this prop. All right, guys, 2 props left. We're now moving over to the White Sox-Mariners game, 9:40 p.m. first pitch. We're going Brian Wu, under 4.5 hits allowed. We're getting this for minus 145 on DraftKings. Also available on Caesars, BetMGM, and on Underdog for varying odds. And again, dad looks pretty good. 8 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the under, averaging 3 hits allowed per game. So far this year in 2024, in 6 games, 5 out of 6, he's cashed the under, 83% hit rate. That's a 2.67 average per game so far this season, so really good. And look at the head-to-head data. The last 2 times he's faced off with the Chicago White Sox, he has cashed the under, both, of course, coming last season. So really good data right off the top here for Brian Wu. And really what I like to see here is that the White Sox data is horrible. You see their batting average over the last 30 games. It is bottom 5 in the league, but on the year, they are the worst hitting offense in Major League Baseball this year, just a 218 average for the team on the year. Across the board, they are bottom 5 in pretty much every statistical category over the last 30 games. 26th in batting average, 29th in strikeout percentage, 26th in BABIP, 29th in hard hitting percentage. The White Sox offense is abysmal, and you have a pitcher who's been pitching pretty well so far this year. You see Brian Wu so far this season, a 3-0 record, 1.07 earned runs per 9 ERA, of course. Strikeouts per 9, 6.42. So really good data for Brian Wu. You got against the worst offense in Major League Baseball. Really solid prop here, minus 145 for a reason. Absolute worth taking it. All right, guys, and our 6th and final prop from today's slate. Yeah, I'm a little bit of a glutton for punishment. We're running it back with this prop. Jorge Soler, under 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. I don't care that it missed last night. I'm taking it again because the data is too good to miss. For minus 130 odds today on DraftKings. Also available on Prize Picks for minus 119 and BetMGM for minus 130. Really great prop here for Jorge Soler. I'm taking it again. Now, of course, the head-to-head data versus Houston. He's cashed the over in 3 of his 4 matches versus the Astros, including last night. He had 1 run and 1 hit versus Houston, but the data is good. 7 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the under. It's a 70% hit rate. So far in 2024, a 61% hit rate on the under. 33 out of 54 games, he's cashed the under, averaging 1.57 HRRs per game. But the splits is really what tells the story for me. There's a 211 batting average this year for Jorge Soler. It does drop versus right-handed pitchers to 203. but the pitching matchup is too juicy to ignore. Ronel Blanco has been pitching fantastic this year for the Astros, a 2.78 ERA overall with a 181 batting average allowed. Versus right-handed batters, a 2.45 ERA, so it's even better. And I know the batting average allowed that you see red, it goes up 0.002 points. It goes from 181 to 183. Still fantastic data. One of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball right now this season, Ronel Blanco. You see the home runs per 9, 1.1. His OBA allowed 261. Across the board, really good data here. Solid matchup here. I'm going to take the under again. If I'm wrong, probably will stay away from this prop for a while, but I'm going to run it back with this Jorge Soler prop. I think he cashes the under here tonight. So again, guys, that's our picks for today's video. When you click that link down below for the picks, I'm going to put it in the pinned comment today just so you guys can be aware of it. It takes you to this page here. All 6 picks are available, and you can go ahead and see what's available on each sportsbook. You see only 1 on FanDuel, 6 are available on DraftKings, 3 on Caesars, 5 on BetMGM, 1 on PrizePicks, and 3 on Underdog. All the picks are here. You can tail, you can follow along, you can click add to bet slip. It takes you right to the sportsbook. It's really easy. If you want to bet them as a parlay, plus 3,315, all 6 picks. Hey, listen, might be worth throwing a little something on. We've been on a pretty good streak here on the channel. But guys, that is it for me today. Thank you as always for watching. Yesterday was my most successful MLB player prop video so far this year. This is obviously my first year doing it. We had over 7,000 people, which I know may sound small to some. For me, obviously, this is my first year doing MLB videos on the channel. It's my most successful video to date. Let's keep that momentum going. Let's keep it going today. Keep hitting that subscribe button. Keep hitting the like button. Keep commenting. All the interaction. It's good for the algorithm. It helps the channel grow. It helps the videos get more views, and it helps us become better and bigger. So, guys, thank you very much, as always, for watching. I'll see you all back tomorrow with both MLB and NBA videos. But until then, I hope we're all winners. Have a good one, guys.